Hi, this is Paul Feuerstein, technology editor of Dentistry Today. And who do I have the pleasure of being with today?
I'm Stephenie Goddard.
Stephenie Goddard. And Stephenie works with a laboratory that you might have heard of.
I work with Glidewell Dental.
Glidewell Dental. And first of all, I'd like to say there is a real Mr. Glidewell. His name is Jim Glidewell. He's been running this lab for about 50 years or so.
If you'll believe it, our 50th anniversary is coming in January. 50 years with the sole proprietor, and he still comes to work every day.
He's there every day. I've talked to him a number of times, and he's not waxing and casting these days, but he's sitting there thinking. What can be a new innovation in dentistry? And he comes to you, and he comes to the engineers, and comes to the scientists and the chemists and says, make me this, make this machine, make this new mill, do this, do that. And it gets done.
He's quite the entrepreneur. He's always thinking. There's a new idea out every morning, I think.
And he's a nice guy. He's a real nice guy.
He really is.
So about 10 years ago, you launched something pretty revolutionary.
We did.
There's a new product, and you've heard about it a lot. The proprietary name is BruxZir. It's a zirconia material that you can make crowns and bridges out of. And just tell me a little bit about BruxZir and zirconia for a sec.
Yeah, BruxZir was our product that we launched 10 years ago, and we now have 18 million crowns in the mouth and counting. Can you believe that?
18 million. And I know for a fact that they've been studied by companies like CR reports and things like that.
Right.
What sort of reports did they come up with?
So there was a great report that just came out, an 8-year study on the success of BruxZir and how well it performs in the mouth. And it's this amazing product, right? It's tooth colored, it's lasting, it's beautiful in the mouth, and we've just launched a revision to that product or a new update to that product. So when BruxZir was initially launched,
it was a little opaque.
It was a little opaque, and it came out as more brawn than beauty, but it worked really well, and it was a fantastic product. And what we've done recently is updated that product to include more translucency for the anterior, and we call that product BruxZir Aesthetic. And it's really for that aesthetic zone, but it can be used as a full arch restoration as well.
I mean, the strength, even though there's a little drop in strength, it's ridiculous. It's a tiny amount of megapascals. So, I mean, it really doesn't make that much difference, to be honest with you.
When you're talking about it's still over 800 megapascals of strength, I mean, I think it's pretty strong.
And I have to say something funny about the original BruxZirs. They came back and we looked at them and put them in the patient's mouth. And some of them were a little bit opaque and they were a little brighter. And I'd say, I was thinking maybe I'll send it back to the lab, and I'd show it to a patient. You know what the patient would say?
What?
Oh, I love my new white tooth. we dentists, we torture ourselves. Oh, please shade the upper second molar a little darker, gingival, and all this thing. We're doing it for ourselves. I mean, not that you want to give a substandard thing to your patients,
right.
but a lot of the knocks initially says, oh, they don't look real, they don't do this. But it's the patients at that point in time, the patients didn't perceive it, but they still have those restorations now.
Right. But that's what's so great about this product. The patients love it, and the dentists love it, and it performs really, really well. And the other great thing is it doesn't wear the opposing. So I know a lot of people were concerned about zirconia,
very concerned,
and it being too tough, and it's going to, obnoxiously wear the opposing or really affect it. And it didn't. And what the study shows in CR report is that it doesn't wear the opposing. It's minimal wear to the opposing. And so it's this great product. It lasts in the mouth. You don't have to worry about fractures. You don't have to worry about it popping off randomly. It's easy to see.
Let me back up though. You still have to have preparation guidelines. You can't do 0.1 millimeters. You have certain guidelines on this whole thing.
Right. There are guidelines, but it's minimal prep.
Right.
So you're not taking off as much of that natural tooth as you would with other types of products.
No, but without a doubt. Now, I have to say that I've worked with Glidewell Laboratories the entire, maybe not all 50 years, but a lot of those years.
Thank you.
And when the product comes in, people say, oh, it's just a big lab. Well, maybe it is a large lab, but it's well controlled. I mean, I have a specific technician I can talk to. It's not, you're not invisible in that laboratory. And that's one of the things that people don't understand. And that's why Glidewell's so successful, the laboratory and Mr. Glidewell himself. I think that's a lot to say. But I have a question for you.
Yes.
I have seen ads in magazines that say you can get a zirconia crown. If you send it off, you push a button off your scanner and send it off to the Philippines and get it back in a couple of days. It's a zirconia crown. It costs like $50. There must be some difference.
I'm sure there is a difference, and what I can say is at Glidewell we manufacture BruxZir in-house. So believe it or not, we actually manufacture it in Irvine, California. So we maintain all of the quality control. Those blocks are processed with the highest levels of efficiency, the highest levels of quality. So we make our product right there in-house, and then we take that product out of the manufacturing area and we use that in our lab to make the final prosthetic. So you can be guaranteed with the quality of the product that you're receiving and you're putting into your patient's mouth, which gives you some level of comfort that you're giving a quality product to your patient.
And for those of you who don't really know how it works, if it comes in a sort of a big, gigantic thing like a hockey puck sort of thing, and that puck has to be made under stringent processes, and different blocks are made different ways. So we know that the BruxZir block is quality controlled, but we don't know what this BruxZir block is from wherever else it came from, and that's the challenge. So I think if anybody, and this is not about Glidewell Laboratories, it's about anybody, if you're getting a zirconia crown, ask the laboratory, what are you using to make this crown? Is it, where did you get the zirconia from in the first place?
Right, and you said if you get a BruxZir crown from Vietnam, but I can
No,
it's
I'm
not
sorry.
a BruxZir crown, it's a zirconia
I know,
crown.
it's become such a great thing that BruxZir and zirconia is almost, it's like the Kleenex word
synonymous,
here. But we have to be careful,
right.
that is a trade name, I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, that's okay, but that's the question to ask your lab is this a BruxZir crown?
BruxZir, yes, they can buy the BruxZir blocks.
Right.
So tell me about a little words. I have a couple of little things like LLL.
LLL. Oh.
Just putting him on the spot.
Thank you. Leading, lasting, and loved. So I think one of the things that we can talk about BruxZir is because it has been around for 10 years, it's a leading product in the marketplace. It obviously has a brand name that exists out there. It's a lasting product, 10 years in the mouth, 18 million crowns in the mouth so far, and it truly is a loved product by both patients and doctors.
Absolutely. So if a dentist isn't familiar with specifically Glidewell Laboratories and BruxZir crowns, which is a zirconia crown.
The leading zirconia, I like to say.
It really is. How do they get more information? I mean, obviously Glidewell has a website.
Yes, if you want more information on any products that we have at Glidewell, you can go to www.glidewelldental.com.
I got to tell you, this is an easy pleasure because it's a product that I use, a product that I like, and you got to give me a lot of information for me.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for your
so
time.
much.
I appreciate it.